Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. This will be a video for the hometown crowd, but really, I think all of you can learn from this. You know, in this era of enlightenment, as we're waking up to just the ridiculous amounts of wasteful and fraudulent government spending on a national level, we begin to ask ourselves, I wonder how much of that is going on the state level. And then when you live in a uniparty state and you realize that all of that wasteful federal spending was going to liberal pet projects, you got to ask yourself, wow, I wonder how much of that is going on in Washington. Well, the answer is we didn't have to look too far to come up with something already. As a matter of fact, today, what we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate that they are using your tax dollars to disarm you. So today, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about, does Washington need its own DOGE to protect your Second Amendment rights? So today we're trying to figure out just how effective is StopBox, and the best way to test that is to put it to test with some of our nation's youngest and brightest kids, you know, college kids. So with the help of Gun Law Jr. there behind the camera, we got some of our local kids who are home for Christmas break. Let's see how they do. Okay, so why don't you give me your first name, your university, and what you're studying in?
Yeah, Herbert, UW, engineering, civil.
Eugene, studying computer science at Cal State Fullerton.
My name is Milton. I'm at WSU and I'm studying mechanical engineering.
Sheldon, UW, quantum physics.
Dude, what's going on here?
You told me to get college kids.
I said college kids. I didn't say engineering majors. I meant like soc, psych, poli-sci, something like that. What's going on?
Science is what I could get.
You need to hang out with dumber friends. All right, gentlemen, this is how this is going to work today. I have here $500. Okay, that'll buy you a lot of beer or pizza or whatever the heck it is you guys spend your money on. One of you gets into this box, the money's yours. Have fun.
I don't know, man. We give up.
You guys are giving up, huh?
Yep.
Sir.
Really? Okay, well, looks like I get to keep the money, but thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, Sheldon, I read that paper you did about variability of measurements in quantum physics.
Oh, yeah?
So, man. StopBox. Protect your family while protecting your family. Okay, Washington, as if having a legislature who doesn't give a darn about anything you say or think or believe, and they are hell-bent on complete civilian disarmament in every legislative session, it seems like it just gets worse and worse and worse, and yet, shockingly, our gun violence problem is not going away anywhere here in Washington State. Along comes the news that, yes, they are using your tax dollars to promote civilian disarmament. Case in point, a recent project announced by the Washington State Department of Commerce. In that, they have announced, because they're looking for event coordinators, they're looking for people who can help them put on an event in early June that will take place at the CenturyLink Exhibition Center right there in between the football and baseball stadium. The name of this event is Together We End Gun Violence. And the state of Washington is paying an event coordinator up to $100,000 for this event. Now, I'm a big fan of trying to do away with gun violence. I think all of us are a big fan of trying to do away with gun violence. I'm a big fan of trying to do away with violence altogether. But when you live in a state like Washington and they start talking about ending gun violence, what they actually are talking about is ending gun ownership, okay? Because if the state legislature truly wanted to solve this problem, if the state legislature truly wanted to go after what the problem truly is, that demographic group is already identifiable. We know who's committing gun crimes. We know what they look like. We know how old they are. We know what their records look like. And we actually know exactly what crimes they're doing. But anytime some legislator comes along with an idea like, hey, why don't we just stiffen up the penalties like that? Oh, no. That thing never even sees the light of day. But you come up with some other type of plan to just, hey, let's just disarm everybody, and that's when your Democrats all hop on board. Now, interestingly enough, one would think that if we're going to talk about ending gun violence, we would want to hear a broad spectrum of ideas, right? We would want to hear those that certainly think that gun control is the solution, but we may want to hear from law enforcement. We may want to hear from law enforcement on the federal side. We may want to also hear from Second Amendment advocacy groups who, again, are very interested in minimizing violence. They just don't want to do it at the expense of every resident's constitutional rights. The introduction by the Department of Commerce reads, "The Washington State Department of Commerce is initiating this request for qualifications and quotes to solicit proposals from those interested in providing planning and event support services for the design and implementation of the Together We End Gun Violence event tentatively scheduled to be held on June 4th or June 5th at the Lumen Field Event Center in Seattle, Washington." They claim the objective is as follows: bringing together a broad audience of subject matter experts and community partners. The purpose of the annual Together We End Gun Violence conference is to raise awareness of issues related to gun violence, spark meaningful connections, form impactful calls to action, assist our communities in building capacity, and identify sustainable responses to the gun violence epidemic. The 2025 TWEG event will bring together community members, practitioners, experts, and system partners committed to reducing gun violence in Washington. The expected registration will be up to 350 attendees. But so far, in this request for a bid, essentially, that the State of Washington Department of Commerce is sending out, they've identified only 3 partners, and they are the State of Washington Department of Commerce, the King County Regional Gun Violence Prevention Office, and you're going to love this one, the Alliance for Gun Responsibility, which happens to be perhaps the most well-funded gun control group in America. So, what you have is the State of Washington government. We already know where they come down on your gun rights. We have the King County Office of Gun Violence Prevention, and then the Alliance for Gun Responsibility, which a more accurate title would be the Alliance for Civilian Disarmament. Now, I can assure you that at no point will the State of Washington Department of Commerce, whoever's putting on this event, contact, I don't know, like the Second Amendment Foundation, you know, the organization that will be right across the floating bridge from where this event's being occurred, or perhaps the Silent Majority Foundation, or any other well-known organization that has been out there fighting for the inalienable rights of Washington residents and residents nationwide. At no point will they want input from law enforcement, you know, the ones that probably best understand how to solve crime. Why is that? Well, because most law enforcement is going to tell them that, hey, listen, all your gun control ideas, yeah, they're not really working, they're not really making our job easier. What this really is taxpayer-funded propaganda on behalf of the Washington State Democratic Party. There really is no other way to cut this. So understand this, Washington, that yeah, we probably do need our own DOGE program, because right now the Department of Commerce is about to waste $100,000 of your taxpayer money so that they can put on a propaganda event in downtown Seattle and espouse the virtues of civilian disarmament. Listen, you don't have to take our word for any of this. We're going to link it all up down below. You can actually read the proposal and take a look at all the language that came from the Washington State Department of Commerce yourself. If you got any other questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, not much in Washington right now, right? You should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now, but if you don't, that's okay. That information is down there in the description box. If you got an idea for a video we should be doing around here, you click on that link right there and tell us all about it. If you want to subscribe to our monthly newsletter, the ability to do all of that is right down there in the description box. And then finally, and most importantly, let's everyone remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.